If you don't know me, my name is Joy, and I am the creator of Inspired by Joy and the CEO of the Joyshow, which is a group on Smule, as you can see. We have over 250 members, and we all met over this last year during the pandemic. At least I started this app about a year ago. It's actually just about a year and 3 days, my anniversary. Anyhow, during this last year, it's been rough for the world. A lot of people lost family members and friends to the virus, to COVID-19. And a lot of people lost jobs and homes. A lot of people experienced great loss and even battled depression because of a loss of community. It's amazing what happens when you're secluded and you don't have anybody around you. And you can't leave the house or you can't interact like normal. But for some people like me, there was a lot of growth and a lot of positivity that happened. For me, I ended up getting unemployment and thankfully didn't have to wait as long as some people did. Yes, my income was lower, but I was able to learn to live off less money, and it allowed me, for the first time in many years, the space to really be with myself and rediscover certain gifts and passions that I'd pretty much stuffed because of life and being a single mother. A little bit about me. I grew up in Southern California. I was a preacher's daughter. He was the worship leader at a very multicultural church where there was a lot of gospel music, where there was the gifts of the Spirit, they call it, where you speak in tongues and pray for healings and dance, and you randomly get the carpet napper who falls out under the anointing. It was very entertaining for my friends as a child when I'd bring them to church. They would just watch and they were shocked, And we'd go to church all the time. I mean, for me, it was a life. It was a lifestyle. It's kind of like when some people look back at high school as part of most of their life, or college days. It really was a huge part of my world because we had services, a couple of them on Sundays, and we always had Wednesday nights, and we had youth group meetings and Bible studies, and everything was just about church. And so as a preacher's daughter, I was exposed to a lot of gospel music and a lot of soul music as well. And then at 16, my dad says, God says to move to Washington State to start a church. And I was 16 and in high school and into hip hop. I'm a 90s girl. Into, Tupac, Aaliyah, TLC. Man, there's just so many. R. Kelly, Keith Sweat. I mean, the 90s was incredible. And so moving from Southern California, San Diego County, up to Spokane, Washington at 16 was very interesting. I went to a high school in the Valley in Spokane, and there was a lot of cowboys and country, and I was never around that. So for me, it was foreign. I came home crying, there's no black people. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing ever. Anyway, at about 18 years old, I booked it back to Cali. Ended up getting a telemarketing job in a one-bedroom apartment with 3 girlfriends, and ended up getting knocked up by a Navy guy. Of course, preacher's daughter, knocked up. And at the time, it was pretty scary. My parents obviously had to really seek God to deal with the emotions that created. But thankfully, they were a blessing to me, and they were able to be there to love me the whole time. Anyway, right after having my son, I ended up back up in Washington. And shortly after getting up there, I got my own place. And from 18 years old until now, I've pretty much supported myself and paid rent. So I never really got into music the way that my brothers and my family did. We're all naturally gifted at it, including my son, who loved to play music with his grandpa and his uncle after church. It's a natural gift for the men in my family. But I sing a mean karaoke on Smule now. Anyway, so when I joined this app, it was something that there was something inside me that came alive. It's something that I stuffed because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't love myself. It took many years of of trial and error and mistakes and things to happen before I really started to love myself, and learn to value myself. And a lot of that happened in the last 5 years especially. And my dad's passing in 2009 was the day, December 27th, 2009 was the day my life changed forever. I was in a service in his church about an hour north of Seattle, Washington. And he was giving his message and having the crowd laughing out loud and crying all in the same 10 minutes. And then at one point halfway through, he grabbed his chest and got winded and had to sit down. It was very strange. It was a very numbing experience watching the ambulance take him away. Have you ever experienced loss? Something so tragic you thought you might never recover? That day was a difficult one. I believed he'd be okay. I knew that, he was best friends with God and had the power of God in him. And if there was ever a natural disaster, I feel like I would have been okay because I was with my dad, because he was God's best friend. But that day he died. The days following were overwhelming. There was hundreds of people around and I felt suffocated. But it was that pain and that loss that literally catapulted me into a place of hunger for understanding. It rocked my belief system. It wasn't his time. There was no cause of death yet on the autopsy. It was a wild situation. So that pain set me on a different path. And over the next several years, I got out of debt. I lost almost 200 pounds. I swapped my marriage for the gym. I could write a whole speech on that. But I learned how to perceive life differently. And music is a huge part of who I am. And this last year has been unbelievable. I've done over 5,000 songs. And it's really fanned the flame and opened up a fire inside me that I've never had. And I'm not the best singer in the world, but I'm good enough. And I love to spread joy and help the world see their perspectives through the lenses of joy. There's always another way to look at things. And music is a beautiful way to pull you into a space of alignment with who you are and focus. And meditation. Meditation only means to become familiar with, which means focus. And it literally helps you take your eyes off your chaos and put them on something simple and beautiful and create. So I started the Joy Show, and we've grown, and we did this competition, the Stars of Joyshow, which started with 30 people, and now we are down to the final 2. So in this episode, you're going to see our final 2, Gata on the Track and the Desmond Epps, compete for the #1 spot. And we have a few other treats for you as well. We have a collaboration that they did together as a little treat. And I'm recording this video on the actual app Smule. So if you're seeing this and you want to see the Stars of Joy Show competition, all 5 episodes are on my YouTube page, which is Inspired by Joy on YouTube, or on the Joy Show Singers Facebook page. You can look us up, and my name on Facebook is Joy Shack Berkeley. And it's a beautiful experience. You'll really enjoy it. That was weird. There was like a noise. Anyway, stay tuned and you will see all of the beautiful songs, and there's a few extra treats in there for you too. Have a great day. We'll do it all. Everything on our own. No, we don't need. I'm at a payphone trying to phone home. All my change I've spent on you. Penny
but you're not here next to me.
With me and just forget the world.
Is it too late to make it? But is it too late to try?
The Desmond Epps, ladies and gentlemen. I don't quite know how to say how I feel.
So stuck in that time when we call it love, love.
Those three words,
But even the sun sets in paradise.
said too much. They're not enough. No.
Wherever time's gone, baby, it's all wrong. Whatever plans we made for two, if happy ever after did exist, then I would still be holding you like this.
Lay here,
Town of full of it.
if I just lay here,
I'm at a payphone.
would you lie with me? Let's waste time
Where are the plans we
chasing
made for two?
around our head.
Wherever time's gone,
I need your grace to remind me
baby, it's all
to
wrong.
find my own.
Where are the plans we made for two?
My own. I don't know where, confused about how as well. I just know that these things will never change for us.
It never changed. Happy ever after did exist.
It's here in your perfect eyes. They're all that I
All those fairy
can
tales
see.
are full of shit. One more stupid love song I'll be said. Now I'm at a payphone. Ooh,
If I
I'm at a
lay
payphone.
would you lie with me? And just forget.
Thank you, Gada, for making this track.
Everybody who's watching, this is the Desmond Epps, who is in our final two of the Stars of Joy show. Congratulations on that. How does it feel? I mean, I know it's just Mule, but how does it feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, there were so many great contestants that entered. Specifically, I mean, to name a few, Gada on the track. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, she's amazing as well. Tony Sounds is amazing. I just loved everybody. I mean, the sisters. I mean, there were so many different acts that got on, and I don't know, listening back to all the different entries and seeing how talented everyone is, I'm just extremely blessed to have made it this far. So thank you, Joy, for having me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's so you're incredible. Your runs, your riffs. How did you learn how to do that? How did you learn how to sing like that?
You know, honestly, I'd probably say part of it comes from church because I come from a strong faith-based background. So being from church, being in the choir, being in the praise team, even like the Sunshine Band when I was a baby, stuff like that. I think it's kind of just conditioned me to have a bit more soul in my voice. And I think that's always going to be the root of what I do. But I do, side note, I do want to obviously be palatable. So I do like to adjust and kind of blend where I can blend to different types of music. But I think that's where that came from. I'd say probably from church and just listening to, old R&B. And then even more, newer R&B, kind of like the 90s up until now. I think I kind of just feed from all of it and I get inspiration. So
we were just talking about who inspired him in his teen years. Like for me, it was Mariah Carey. Like I think when I was 13 or 12, she came out, and I'm like, oh, there's hope for white people. And it turns out she's black.
I didn't know you were part of the Lamely. You're a lamb.
Yeah, she's oh my god.
Yeah.
So, but I used to be so obsessed with her albums because I'm one of those deep. Like I loved listening to the song and replaying it over and over and trying to just and get into it and feel it and learn her riffs. And I could sing any Mariah song and pretty much do her riffs. I don't have her range, but because she does the falsetto all the time, I sound pretty good in parts of it. Is there anybody like that, a specific singer that literally you learned from as far as you slowed it down and listened and,
Yes, there's many. There are really honestly many because I'm like a sponge with vocals and I think that's how I've grown. But I would say from the group I mentioned, specifically probably between Usher and Tank and Chris Brown. I kind of like to mix them. As far as women, probably obviously Beyonce.
Oh yeah. Oh, any day.
Beyonce.
I could totally see that too because when you hear your voice, the riffs, the style, it's smooth. You can hear influence in there, and I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Usher.
Yeah, it's fun because I like to really mix in so many different artists, and I still can make it my own, which is great. But I just think it's just they have amazing voices. So for me, I just love to soak any of that up and just kind of sit under their teachings and learn how I can apply that. And that's why I said I don't think I'll ever stop growing because I just learned how to control my voice different ways and, learning to retract versus, going full fledged and just knowing where to breathe. There's so many different levels now to singing that I'm aware of that, like I said, maybe 6 years ago, I wouldn't have even known, there was multiple breath techniques, to sound a certain way. I would have just thought there was that one church way. So I don't know. I just love to grow and expand. And I think your competition has really, really helped me to do that. And Smil in general has helped me to do that. I think it's a great platform. I mean, although I think they need to get better with some of their stuff. It's a little ghetto, some of the little things on the app. But I think it's really helped me to really stay on top of my game. It's kind of like the vocal gym. You go to the gym to work out. You go to the gym for your voice too. You have to stay, in top shape. And I think it's really kept me at a place where I know if I have to sing somewhere, I'm ready because I've been singing consistently,
Yes.
So.
Maybe I just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? I know you smell the perfume, the makeup on the shirt. You don't believe the stories, you know that they're all lies. Bad as you are, you stick around and I just don't know why. If I was your man, baby, you never worry about what I do. I'll be coming home back to you every night, doing you right. You're the type of woman deserves good things. Face full of diamonds, handful of rings. Baby, you're a star. I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. Baby, good love and protection. Make me your selection. show you the way love's supposed to be. Baby, you should let me love you, love you, love you, love you. Listen. Your true beauty's description looks so good it hurts. You're a dime plus 99, it's a shame you don't even know your worth. Everywhere you go they stop and stare, cause you're bad and it shows. From your head to your toes, you're out of control. Baby, you know, if I was your man, baby, you never worry about what I do. I'll be coming home back to you every night, doing you right. You're the type of woman deserves good things. Fist full of diamonds, handful of rings. Baby, you're a star, and I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give, baby, good love and protection.
Hi, beautiful.
Anyway, so okay, so tell me how you found Smule. Like, tell me that story. Like, what happened? How did you discover it? And how long did it take you to kind of get used to Smule?
I had no desire to join Smule. In fact, I used to kind of roll my eyes at it every time I saw a commercial or a little ad for it on a different platform. And so I actually find it wonderfully ironic, and I'm so happy that my initial, I'm not usually one to judge, but my initial, I guess, interpretation of Smule, I'm glad that did not stand, because I would have missed out on so many incredible connections had I not. But I started off actually on Star Maker, and
really?
and on another site called Hit Record, and I was it was all by chance that I started even on those sites, as I had just happened to get invited by someone I knew, or someone happened to send me a link at the right time, and I happened to click the link, and that link happened to take me to this song, which I just happened to decide, why the heck not? I'll sing it. Which led me to say, you know what, I need somewhere to practice, to get my voice back, because it had been so long since I had sung anywhere other than the shower. And so long that I was just, oh, hi!
I think there's Desmond. Hi, Desmond.
It might be my headset. Should I take this off?
Okay. It was like that with me and Desmond too, because I start talking, it's like he couldn't hear me talking. Like, I think there's a slight delay, but okay. So you magically came to Smule, and we magically connected.
Yeah.
And then we. And then we got into the Stars of Joy show. I can't believe I even got a hold of you, because it's so difficult to reach people in there unless you like tag them in the comment.
Right.
5 times. So, when did you start singing? Like, when did you start realizing you had a gift for music?
I actually started really young. Started in my church choir. I believe me and Desmond have that in common as well. But it bloomed and blossomed through musical theater, and I was a part of my local community theater, and I had already been in dance and all that fun stuff, but singing was always something I loved. I mean, I can't remember a time I didn't sing. It's just this is the first time that I've actually worked on honing that skill, I guess. This is the first time it's truly been a focus point in my life, and something that I wasn't even aware how important it was to my heart's happiness, how necessary it was, and how much happiness it brought me on so many levels. And so it's just I think always that theater, that drama has always been, which obviously y'all can tell if you've even seen one of my videos, but that performance is in me already, and then Smule just gave me an amazing platform. Yeah.
So, who was the biggest mentor for you in your? I asked this with Desmond also. In your teen years, are there any specific one or two artists that stood out the most to you that were influencers to you, and also that you would just want to emulate, that really had a big part in who you are?
I grew up with parents that, out of a desire to keep me a kid for as long as possible, bless them, they really kind of, they were making sure I wasn't listening to certain things. I guess we'll put it that way. So a lot of what I think was normal for my age group to be listening to, I didn't even know was there, or if I did know, it was because a friend told me about it. So a lot of my early years were influenced the greats like the Rat Pack, you know, from some Frank Sinatra, some Dean Martin. You know, I had Peter, Paul, and Mary were huge. Like my mom and I would sing that in the car. Louis Armstrong, my dad and I sung in the car on the way to places, along with, because any musical soundtracks were like, you know, golden. So I just, and from there to Sheryl Crow and Linda Ronstadt, Patsy Cline. So it's like I grew up with this very wonderfully diverse, but also uniquely stunted, just in the sense of what would be considered contemporary at that time. Kind of a stunted view of music. And then that just, but I love that because what a wonderful foundation to have. Then from there, just, you know, being able to pick and choose my music tastes from there, which really I didn't develop my taste until well into college, when I started exploring, you know, different, because now it would be like, you know, Eminem is like my teacher when it comes to my rap. Like I dissect that stuff like I am like, oh, how he do that, like shit, it's amazing. And then but yeah, so it's like, and I just think you can't go wrong with artists like Bruno Mars and Billie Eilish and Frank Ocean and his unique taste on things. It's widespread love of pretty much every genre and everything, and I like to pick and pull from all of them. I don't think there's one sound that I like could tell you that my inspiration comes from. It's just like this wonderful mashup of everybody, and you get me, I guess.
Interesting, because when you're I was raised in the church too, and I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music. You know, Dad would like have cable TV sometimes, and then he'd feel convicted and he'd like cut the cable and say it's the devil, and like you know, and so like it was kind of naughty, like it wasn't really something. But I think it's beautiful that we had the foundation of learning the good artists, you know, because we wouldn't have that foundation, and I feel like it really is good and healthy for a musician to be able to know about all of these geniuses of the past, you know. Oh
God, yeah. I mean, there's so many that have such specific talents that are you know, where like Frank Sinatra, and how he's masterful in just his phrasing and how he sings his verses. I mean, learning, just breaking down a verse from him can teach you so much, and I still got a lot of growth to do on that level. I'm still finding my own voice. So
away by you, like I heard my first experience with you was your rap, and I'm like, this girl has swagger, man, like she's good. I'm like, I want to be your friend, so I've got to have to figure it away. So I joined your song, and thank God you liked it.
I loved it. Are you kidding me? I loved it. That's what showed me you had your flavor. You brought your flavor to that.
I was like, oh my God, this chick she can sing old jazz.
I do love me some jazz. I do.
Oh yeah. You're good at it.
I love jazz. Jazz, just, I like anything that lets you that lets you emote. Truly, like you don't gotta be guessing what the intention behind that song is. You feel like it. Undeniably, like I love. Oh, woo! I love it.
So, what would you say your genre would be if you had to categorize yourself when you release albums? What would be your main? I know you're very diverse, so it's hard to say that, but I have to admit my naivety in terms of
what constitutes something being in a genre. Like I'm not dumb about it. Like, you know, I understand your basic R&B or your, you know, your hip hop or your pop, but sometimes it's like I look at Billie Eilish, for example, okay? I would not consider her a pop artist, but they'd be putting her in that genre. And I'm like, really? Like, it just doesn't make, right. Right. So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know where I would really fall, because I do love rap and I love the challenges that I choose to take on in rap, because I really value the intricacies that some of the greats play with in their raps. But I also love the melodic vocals of jazz and R&B, and I don't know where I'd fit. I guess I'd probably be thrown in with like an indie adult alternative pop.
You're like a mix mash. You know what? You are the untitled.
Yes, the unknown genre.
Embrace her. She's everything. She's the god of everything.
And like, I kind of love that though. Like, I would love it if like each CD, like God willing, I'm ever able to be lucky enough to produce any. But I would love if like each CD in my series was a different genre, just exploring a different genre, because I don't feel like
litter.
I don't want to be. I'm what? Say that again. Sorry.
It's like cat litter. There's all different colors.
Yes, exactly. And like that, they're like a lot of kittens in that litter, because I don't even. But I love that. I love not feeling. I don't feel bogged down by one defining factor. I feel like that's the beauty in art, not just in music, but in art in general. Is it's anything you want it to be, and you never have to be defined by just one thing. You can be literally whatever you want and create whatever you want. Yes, Maria, I agree.
Not really sure how to feel about it. Something in the way you move makes me feel like I can't live without you yet. Takes me all the way. I want you to stay. It's not much of a life you're living. It's not just something you take, it's given. Round and around. start to see a weeping willow crying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. Round and around we go. And as the sky turns gloomy, night winds whisper to me. Soon as I can go, I go walking after midnight, hoping you may be somewhere walking after midnight, out in the starlight, searching for me.
Wasn't that super amazing? So incredible. Both of our finalists are simply incredible. Completely different genres, but they came together, gave us a beautiful collaboration, and then battled it out. I did show those entries, the competition entries in the last episode as well. But this is actually our very last episode of the Stars of Joy Show Season 1. Thank you so much for all of you who have followed us. And now it's time to talk about who the winner of the first season of Stars of Joy Show is. Berks Records has agreed to go ahead and give the runner-up a 2-month membership to the Berks roster and record with them for 2 months as well. So both of these beautiful contestants are going to be able to record and have access to thousands of songs, the licensing, and everything involved. I will connect you both with Berks Records with Anthony and James shortly after this episode is released. So the runner-up of the Stars of Joy Show. It was a very close call, you guys, and it's very hard for me to do this because both of these people have such a huge place in my heart. But the runner-up is Desmond Epps. You are incredible, my friend. Incredible. And I thank you so much for participating and being such an amazing participant, giving so much heart and so much love in the process. And Gata on the track, congratulations, sister. You are the very first Star of Joy Show. That's it, you guys. It's very difficult for me to end it this way, but I'm in a beautiful dog park here in Las Vegas, Nevada at midnight with my little dog, Molly, who is enjoying herself. I just thought I would go ahead and do this video outdoors. And I look sweaty because it's hot in Vegas, but it's actually pretty nice tonight. Anyway, thank you all again for watching the Stars of Joy Show, and I look forward to seeing you in the next season. Have a great evening.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Light as a feather, high as a bird. I like this weather. Left my problems at the curb. Those Instagram posts will have to wait. Taking myself out on a date. Light as a feather, high as a bird. I've let the sunshine chase my blues away. No more explaining or even caring what they say. Because nothing ever good comes when you're down in the dumps. So turn your music up, put your chin up and jam out with joy. Light
a feather, high as a bird. I like this weather, left my problems at the curb. Those Instagram posts.